This is my setup for when I am painting the 3D prints. And I'm gonna go over everything kind of one at a time. Now this is what I use. This is not necessarily what you have to use. These are just suggestions. If you come up with a better idea, something different, something maybe even less expensive or more handy, please by all means do that. You do not have to do exactly what I do. There's a very real possibility that I'm not doing it the right way, but it's the end result that counts. So the first thing is, because I'm an older gentleman, I have a hard time seeing stuff up close, especially when you're really, really working on details. So this light, and I wish I knew the name of it, I don't really have it handy right now, but it's a magnifying glass with a light on it. And you can change the intensity of the light. You can change it, you can do like a warm light and a cold light, a cool light, all kinds of stuff. But that really helps in getting really close details. And I also have like a raised surface. This works really well. This is something I just found at Goodwill. You can tell how neat I am. Look how clean that is. It just helps me kind of rest my hands on it so I'm not shaking and everything. For a water jug, I get something that's big and bottom heavy, so I'm not knocking it over. I'm kind of clumsy that way, so I want something that's not like a beautiful vase or anything. This is just a big chunky thing here. This is my palette. I've actually had this since high school. It's just a chunk of glass that I just taped around the edges of. And what you can do is once this gets built up too much with paint, you can just take a razor blade and just scrape that right off, because the surface of the glass is non-porous, so the paint isn't soaking into it like if you were going to use like a paper plate or something. I've used paper plates for palettes too, but this is something you can use over and over and over again. I use an old rag a lot of the time for first of all, for just wiping off my mistakes, but also sometimes I'll use it for like dry brushing. Instead of using an actual dry brush, I'll just use this, put some paint on there and move it around. And speaking of dry brushes, these are the dry brushes I use. And that's Fumui, whatever that is. But let's see if I can pop this. There we go. Some dry brushes they use. Tubes of acrylic. You can get cheapy acrylics like these. This brand is, here's another one, Arteza. Well, that I get that, but it doesn't matter. You can get acrylic paint anywhere. It's really, really easy to find. Just find a brand that you like and get it. I've been using these paint pens. Here's another name that I'm gonna have a hard time pronouncing. Artugin, Artugin. It's a dual tip marker, so it's got like a thick end on one side and more like a brush tip on the other side. Again, these are acrylic paint pens are getting easier and easier to find. These are just some whites, T5. This is just, whatever works for you, and then various brushes. You know what a great one is? This, an old toothbrush. That's a fantastic brush for certain types of painting. And that's it. That's pretty much my setup. Now, certain things are going to need to be glued, and you could use any type of glue that works with plastic. Just a basic super glue, Gorilla Glue. This is kind of an industrial adhesive. what I have found, I learned this from Adam Savage. If you look up his videos, you can see about it. You can add baking soda to the surfaces that you're gluing, and it will make the bond stronger. So I would highly recommend that.